Hey y'all, what in the world is up with Trump lately, man? A lot of his recent moves have been just as strange as all get out. And I know that's kind of like saying, hey, has anyone noticed the Cleveland Browns are a hopeless misery fountain? In both cases, the appropriate response is, yeah, that's kind of their whole thing. You didn't even mention the rapey parts. I know, but still, even for Trump, it's been weird. Like with the McDonald's thing, which you got to admit, pretty good metaphor, right? Donald Trump, while doing a job he has no business doing and can barely understand, serves a long line of his supporters all the salt and grease they can handle, which they greedily wolf down, even though it offers them no sustenance, and in fact is actively making their lives worse. You kind of have to admire the poetry of it all. But still, what was the point? You would assume it was some kind of connect with the working man thing, but dude, we all know Donald Trump is a blue blood, silver spoon, lifelong entitled rich asshole. The goddamn Dowager Countess of Downton Abbey was more connected to working people than he is, and she ain't know what a weekend was. All right, but still, it's even funnier because that's not even what he was going for. Apparently, the whole thing was just meant to dunk on Kamala because he says she lied about working there years ago. We don't know whether or not she did work at McDonald's. What we do know is she grew up middle class, surrounded by regular people with regular jobs. And meanwhile, the closest Donald Trump ever came to a fast food employee as a kid was when his dad made him hunt one for sport on their private murder island in order to earn his inheritance. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We all know he didn't do shit to earn his inheritance. All right. But also, they say the McDonald's thing was staged, but I don't really care about that. It's probably better that it wasn't an operational McDonald's. I mean, imagine being a poor single mother of three, desperate for the silence that Happy Meals bring, but now you got to wait another 45 minutes because Donald Trump won't stop rambling to every car in line about how Joe Biden wants to give all of our taters to China or whatever. It's better this way. But also, it's not just the McDonald's thing. He's been all over the map lately, except anywhere a regular candidate should be. His campaign has canceled every legitimate interview and appearance, opting instead to have him go on every crypto bro's favorite podcast to ramble about nothing in between ads for wiener pills and ball hair trimmers. Truly presidential stuff. So while Kamala Harris has been out here answering policy questions on openly antagonistic news outlets, Donald Trump is starting his own rallies with 15 minutes on Arnold Palmer's dick before shuffling around and staring into the abyss for an hour while random music plays. What the hell, man? I mean, however they want to spin it, it's clear at this point that Trump's team only trusts him in the most accommodating of scenarios, and even those he is dumbly fumbling. All right? They clearly don't trust him. It couldn't be more obvious that he is unraveling mentally at an astonishing pace and is not fit for office in this condition. All right, and based on all of their actions earlier this year, I have to assume the Republicans recognize that and find it completely unacceptable. Right? Right, guys? Right? Yeah, that's what we all thought. All right, YouTube, back with more in just a second, but let's take a look at some of the media coverage of this fun little story here.
All right, we're here on Ground News' website. They also have a mobile app and a Chrome extension. We're looking at stories related to Trump's big drive-through stunt at McDonald's. What else? You can see over here on the right the coverage breakdown, a whole lot of sources. Not surprising, this was a big story, pretty evenly distributed. And if you look down here at the headlines, if you sort by the bias of the outlet, you can see how differently these headlines can be presented based on political bias. Like if you look at the left-leaning outlets, they note that Trump slings fries but won't talk minimum wage. They ask, what's the truth behind Trump's shift at McDonald's? Trump serves up fries but dodges question on minimum wage. They're shooting holes in the stunt before you even read about the article itself. But if you look at right-leaning outlets, different story. They say that Trump taps into the heart of wholesome Americana by working the drive-through. Trump blasts Kamala in cheeky campaign stunt. They're framing it as a home run. So you can see how the political bias of the outlet shines through in the headline itself before you even get to the article. That's just some of the extra insight you get from Ground News. Ground News is a startup and service that aims to combat bias in the media by adding context and transparency to all the news that you consume. You can see here before you ever even click on a story, you get these extra layers of information. You can see the ownership group, where the money comes from. You can see the factuality rating and the bias of the outlet. So you're more informed before you even get to the meat of the article itself. They got a lot of great features on Ground News. One of my favorites is the blind spot feature that shows you stories that are not being reported on either side of the political spectrum. Right now on the left, very little reporting on Iran's complaints about Israeli threats. And on the right, very little reporting about Project 2025 becoming a flashpoint in this year's election, because they want to talk about Project 2025 as little as possible, right? But this gives you some extra looks into what is going on outside of your own political bubble, which I think is something that would benefit us all in these days.
So if that sounds good to you, click the link in the description below or scan that QR code to try Ground News today. You can try it for free, or you can get 40% off their highest tier Advantage program, which includes, among other things, unlimited blind spot feature. The election's right around the corner, y'all. It's never been more vital. Push back on the bias and BS. Try Ground News today. All right, YouTube, man, we're back. Listen, yeah, it has been an interesting approach lately, what Trump's been doing, doing this fast food worker stuff. MMA podcast, very bro-y podcast, Twitch streamers, right? It's like, I'm not sure that Trump knows that 16-year-old boys can't vote. You know what I mean? He seems heavily focused on the coveted teenage boy market, but it's like, dude, you're not selling ads on a wrestling program. You're trying to be the president. I know that there's plenty of 18 to 22-year-old boy dumbasses too, and I know they're out there, but it just seems like, I don't know, he's putting too much stock in a not notably trustworthy or, show up kind of group. That makes no sense. I'm just saying, I don't know. I do think it may be effective because I've known a lot of young men in my life, and most of them are, to put it nicely, dumbasses. So, I'm worried that it could be effective with that demographic, but it seems a little too laser focused to me. It's funny that his team is like, look, dude, the only people at the stage he's at mentally and how he talks, the only people he can possibly reach are the dumbest demographic of people we have in this country. 15 to 23-year-old males or whatever. That's the only one we got any chance with. Dude, imagine if a Democrat, imagine if Kamala was doing the same thing, the equivalent of this same thing, like if Kamala was going on Talk Tua and getting into detailed discussions about like Shamiqua Holesclaw's butt or something like that. Like, dude, she'd be crucified by every side of the media, and rightfully so. She's going for the highest office in the land, man. Like, if I just stopped talking and just played YMCA for 40 minutes while staring into the camera, you guys, you'd be really worried about me, and you would think that I'm rightfully insane, right? And I'm just like an internet piece of giggle trash. That's all I am, dude. This dude wants the nuclear codes, right? The standards are just ridiculous in this country right now, and we all know the Republicans aren't going to care. They don't care if it gets in there at this point. In fact, they probably hope that it continues to unravel. I think they just want him to get the votes and get in there, and then they'll just 25th Amendment his ass, or otherwise, defenestrate him or something. I don't know. Do something to him to take him out, so they're, all their billionaire puppeteers can get their little fraudulent hillbilly marionette in the power seat, in the pole position. Get J.D. Vance in there, and he's probably better equipped to execute their Christo-fascist nationalist agenda. So that's all exciting. So, I mean, in fact, it probably behooves them that Trump continues to fall apart at the seams right now. And that is a truly disconcerting thought. Anyway, we'll see what happens, dude. We're coming down to the nitty-gritty now. It won't be long, y'all. Fingers crossed, I reckon. Thanks for watching. I'll put these videos up here as my special you can watch. Subscribe to the channel, get all these videos of my podcast and whatnot. And the most important one to me, TreyCrowder.com. That's my website. That's where you can come see my tour dates. I'm a stand-up comedian. It's what I really do. If you like these, you'll like that. I'm confident if I'm coming near you, come see me. It's a good time. Either way, if y'all keep watching these, I'll keep making them. I love you like chicken. See you. Bye.